Hello and welcome to MindBody Podcast. I'm your host, Devi Sundar, MindBody consultant, and I'm so glad you're here. On the MindBody Podcast, we explore the deep connections between mindset, well-being, and life transitions and how to rise through pain, find purpose, and come home to ourselves. Today's episode speaks directly to anyone who's ever faced the end of a relationship and wondered, who am I now? Will I ever feel whole again? Our topic is rebuilding after breakup, finding your voice, value, and vision. And I could not be more excited about today's guest. She's a compassionate, dedicated divorce and relationship coach whose work blends with emotional and more grounded and practical support. She brings both a professional insight and personal experience into her work, which I think is a part of what makes her more powerful in this space. She's also an author of a new book published this 14th of February 2025, You're Enough. It is a must read book for anyone in the middle of heartbreak or reinvention of themselves. Hello, Annie. It's such a joy to welcome you to this podcast here. And I was looking forward to this conversation, especially. And thank you for being here today. I would like to start always with the why behind the work, especially the work which you're doing, which is deeply rooted in empathy and understanding people's deeper trauma and emotion and how to change their mindset. So, could you share with us a bit of your journey? What led you to this role of divorce and life coaching pathway?
First, hi, Devi, and it's so pleasure of mine to be your guest in your podcast. As I know you personally, you are amazing person,
Thank you.
and it's really, really pleasure to be here and share my own journey. I'm divorce relationship coach. Also, I'm author in my first book, which is You Are Enough. Just been published in February and 14th of February. Actually, on Valentine Days, I published the book which is related to the divorce, but is with the practice and so many things which people can attach, let's say, or recognize as a part of them life. So I'm so happy that I published the book, no matter of the time of that. My journey started as a divorce relationship, being on my own experience, how I navigate my own painful divorce, which is actually takes 6 years of my life with a custody battle. I have been to so many specialists as I personally been traumatized of all this happening to me. And like that, I became like a is for me is a personal transformation which is inspires me to help others and share my own experience because I go through that way, and I feel the way that I need help people and share what I've learned and what I've not listened my inner voice which says stop, think, don't go. And that's all I was sent in my book, write in my book, and that's who I am.
That's great, actually. So it is coming from your own true experience, isn't it? Like, which
Yes.
actually puts you in a more expertise position, like how you can understand people, say in the same boat and help them to reach that confidence level as you are here today,
Yeah.
and publish a book. You're enough on 14th of
Yes.
February this year, isn't it?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I would actually look forward to read your book now, and You're Enough. The title actually is really inspiring, and it is
Thank
truly,
you.
isn't it? Like everyone needs to feel that you're enough, and you are having a greater strength as long as you're in a relationship, as in a healthy relationship, and even that is stronger. But if it is an abusive relationship, it is something which every woman in that relationship should hear the strong message, you are enough. And Yes, yes. So one thing I've noticed in my own personal life and also in conversation with many women, when they go
Yes.
through this kind of pattern of breakups or divorce, there is a lot of patterns of emotional struggles like grief, confusion,
Yes.
shame. In your coaching, have you noticed those patterns in people, and how do you recognize and make them aware of? Maybe some people might not be even aware of that they're going through those kind of patterns of emotional struggles, and so I wanted to hear from you. How do you recognize that?
Yeah, that's the most questions asked, like the patterns. The patterns I can say it's always come from us. It's like a self-blame, shame, anxiety of about your future, who you are after the divorce or breaking, and the blame that I am not enough. That's why my book is called I You Are Enough. That's the reason. But the self blame, like not believe yourself, you get a different boundaries, and many women struggle and grieving for so long because that's the word I use. I'm not enough, not enough to step in my future, not enough to be aloft again. But mostly is the self blame. I didn't do steps to be better. And I always advise my client and even myself when I was in this situation, the divorce itself or broken relationship, it never starts with one person. It's always two not work on it. And it's not you both of you. So work on yourself, believe in yourself, love yourself for who you are, and then the things start from there. That's what I can advise.
Yeah, yeah, it's a strong, strong message, isn't it? It's about whenever people are broken in the relationship, especially in most of the relationship, women blame themselves too much for the relationship breakage and why the
Yeah.
relationship work. They self-blame, and the inner critic pops up, and they go down in their other parts of their life. And it's a
Yeah.
strong message when there is a breakup or a divorce. It's two people need to work on. It's not to blame on each other, but start
Absolutely.
actually looking inside each other so that they can bring in a more healthier relationship. Maybe they might not be a husband and wife or lovers again, but maybe a friends or taking care of each other if it is going to be working out in a healthy direction. Or if it's really totally a abusive relationship, then working on themselves for the future relationship together. Great.
Absolutely. Yeah, I always say is the better way, not only for you and your ex-partner, is for your child to shows, even though if it's not child around, to shows that we go through this and we better stay a friends. This is for our own good health, to not put that pressure on you to just not when you pass that person in the road, turn your head on side. I don't know. You obviously live with that person, love that person, so put everything behind and say we are friends.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, it is interesting when the child is in the equation of a relationship, it is totally a different story, isn't it? How we have to
Absolutely.
form that
Absolutely.
kind of healthy relationship with the child's father and the growth of the child who's actually looking at your relationship, and your relationship is an example for your child. And yeah, it is so hard. We'll come to that child section down the
Yeah.
line. And my next question here is, well, I wanted to actually clarify to the audience and get your wisdom in it and your thoughts. There is a difference between a heartbreak and carrying trauma. Yeah, we all have some losses in our life, in some parts of our life. Yeah, but carrying that loss as a trauma life term is not a good, healthy way. So, how do you actually tell your clients in your coaching how to differentiate a loss and a trauma?
Well, I'm always saying to define that's the two different part of your lives. I mean, you're not going together on it. So the trauma can be carried on from your childhood. So I'm always says you've been traumatized for something, but sometimes we carry on the trauma from our childhood and is present all in our life till we not work on it. So if when in child, when I'm start working with my clients, I always say, tell me your childhood. And then from there, I can start making the questionnaire and ask you how you grow. And I had a client soon it just says, why is important you to know my childhood? What's the matter? I had a very brilliant, I was so happy child. I don't think something in my childhood is related for my broken divorce, for my broken marriage. And furthermore, when we have talk in our conversation, just because she don't want to share in details, and I get this because I'm psychologist as well, and I never push my clients. I just see it where the limits is. So she starts saying and talking, and during the conversation she start mention the little things, and she say, I don't know how you did this, but you make me talk for my childhood, which there is a little part which I didn't like it, and there is a little part which I forget it, and I don't think that is related. But now in the conversation with you, I was recognized that part, that little part, make it so much in my life, like choosing my partner, choosing the way we go, and choosing the relationship. And this all came from her father. So that's what I always say, tell me. And that's the trauma we carry on
Hmm.
from the childhood, and we just not our brain is made that to not remember the bad things. I'm not saying it's something bad, but it's something always there, and that's the trauma you carry on, um and the broken heart is nothing but everybody can have a heartbroken. You can have a heartbroken when you are 10, when you first meet the boys, and somebody say, you're not beautiful. That can be a heartbroken from the girl which is 10 years old. The heartbroken is itself, I'm always saying and advising, this is things should happen to you to make you more strong and to grow. The heartbreak is, as I'm saying as well, we have a soulmates in our life. So we have always three. One is the teachers, one is the person which can be in our life not forever, and one is the our real soulmate. So I'm always saying that's not mean that 3 months you're gonna meet in your life a woman's, but always there is a teacher, always you meet the teachers, and that's where his heartbroken starts. But we don't need to look at that part of it like really heartbroken. I mean, that's a good thing because we grow, and the next relationship, we're gonna know what is it. We're not gonna step further on that. We're not gonna make that mistake again. We're not gonna repeat what we did on the previous relationship. So many people say, I can't recover from my heartbreak. The itself heartbreak, it never by the heart, is by your emotion, by how you feel, by how you recover, by how you accept others. That's the heartbroken.
Yeah, that's actually some food for a thought. Actually, you say that everyone has this pattern being developed from the childhood, how they observe the relationship, and that is within our subconscious mind, and that's how you choose your partner if you have an opportunity or a shot given to you. Because in some cultures, you cannot choose your partner. Am I right?
Yes, yes,
I come from
yes,
that culture. I cannot choose my own partner. It's like something our parents choose for us, our life partner. And in some cultures, it is like you can choose your own partner and more of westernized thought. I'm talking about the South Asian thought. It's like you
yes,
have to
yes,
go along with your culture and whatever your parents. The parents are considered to be that the right decision makers for your life. With some in some marriages it doesn't go as it is. So yeah, that's that. Thank you for sharing that thought. So it's about
yes,
learning from the broken relationship. Am I right? Like it is about like
yes.
whenever a
And
relationship.
grow from, and grow from. And I want to mention about your culture. I like your culture. I mean, as you say, we can't choose your husband, but just because your culture itself is like this, that's going for so long, so long. Because my mom is Greek, so and Greek culture was the same. They choosing the husband for you, but just because the culture itself is like that, I mean, it's for so long, and it's actually your parents, or my parents, will choose exact person for you. It's very rare to not be choose the right person because they know it as a family. That's how I know from my Greek family. They know each other. They know that family. They know even the background of the grandparents of that family. And it's actually choosing someone, they choosing the whole family. They not choosing only the man for you, but they choosing the family. This is how the culture is. Because one of my part, my Greek mom, it was like this many years ago. Even they choose for her. She make the choice to escape of this and choose my father, but her sister husband been chosen for her. Bless God, they are 55 years together, and it's such a big family. So, in some point, I even mentioned in my book this. Some point, I like the culture, which is making this. How I say, the connection is not only with the man choosing a woman for you; it's with the whole family,
Yeah.
engaging the whole family. It was amazing. It was really, uh, but my cousin is married like this. For me, it's somebody to choose because you giving permission like to yourself. Oh, I want really, um, you know, to go on this part and love that person. Sometimes maybe I'm saying by my personal, maybe is a better and not just meeting in the street, but everyone is different, and we found the love even when we throw our trash bin. So that's the life. Beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for that appreciation for the cultural concept. Yes, the southern culture, they're culturally so rich, and they have this kind of extensive social connection. When we talk about the Greek culture or the South Asian culture,
Yes.
that is so rich in connections. But when it comes down to close, intimate relationships, certain things depends on individual personality apart from the external factors like culture, isn't it? So
Yes.
it's work or work doesn't work. It depends on the two people who are connecting in that particular relationship. Am I right? Yeah. So
Yes. Yes.
let's actually move on to another part, the segment where I wanted to discuss on the emotional healing and how women who went through a divorce or a breakup or a part of an early separation, how they can actually heal from that trauma. I wanted to ask some of the questions from that. So the question comes now, especially
Yes.
women actually after their abusive relationship. Okay, so I talk about now
Mhm.
here emotional abusive relationship because certain kind of relationship communications and the patterns might not initially at the early stage of relationship cannot show up that trauma, and trauma doesn't scream and say like, oh, I'm in trauma, I don't like this relationship because this person is
Yeah.
treating it. Because most of the cultures, when we talk about the cultural concept, they actually, if it is there is a commitment like a marriage, they start to understand how the relationship goes and to a certain degree abide into their cultures as well, and put in the work, whether one or one partner in that relationship try to give some kind of time to the other partner to understand. Yeah, but
Yeah.
if it is not working out, like if there is an emotional abuse or physical abuse, and the people then decided at one point, okay, we go in separate ways. After deciding that, yeah, they start to question, especially the women. Okay, I'm talking more about the women here, as it is a greater degree of domestic violence is out there and a lot of abuses out there, and the wider part of
Yeah.
you we talk about. In connection with that, what is that actually the women can do if they are starting to question their own beauty, their own sanity, and their strength after an abusive, emotionally or a physically abusive relationship? What would be your advice for them?
It was always start with rebuilding your self-worth, always, and recognizing and always put in your mind that is never your fault, never your fault. You need to start grow, I mean, in your mind to say that's not my fault. That's been abused, been left all of that. It's never your fault, but you need to build that self-worth and self-belief, how I say in my book. So once you have that, like, the life start be easy for you, but the self-belief and self-worth of "that's not my fault" is the first and hardest thing for the woman to start realizing, because if it's a mother, she was always gonna think about first her children. And it says, it was because of me. I can't leave my children without them father, no matter how he is. I can't live. I can't even put on my mind that my children will be point in school that your moms and your dad are not together, and this because of that and that. And children's those days are really hard work and bad in school. They saying very bad words. I mean, they not seeing the next day mom or dad, and start your mom and dad's not together. And that's what I always says, the self-worth itself, it's is the more important to start saying that it's not my fault that happened, and you grow this and start believe and work on it. Work, there is a lot of practices, which I personally use on myself. Was I start meditating, I make journaling. This is the most beautiful things. You start journaling everything you did. I mean, from in the morning, my routine in the morning, I'm waking up, I'm having a hot water with lemon, and then I'm sitting for 15 minutes meditation, and then I'm start writing my plans for the day. And let's say not end of the day, but around 5 or afternoon, I'm start ticking what I've did, and I feel so worth, like, oh my god, I did so many things. I just, if it's not that journaling saying me shopping, buying this, putting petrol in your car and stuff, little things, I feel so happy. I just ticked all on the day. So I mean, like, that's how you build your self-worth. You build it by that way. So you start believe in yourself and say how amazing soul I am, not just amazing person, beautiful person. How, because I manage myself. So that's always I'm advising self-worth, self-belief. That's the things, the hardest one which we start, and that's the way we start, um let's say, grow and start believing ourselves and heal. That's the way of healing.
I'm actually seeing myself in you now. Like, same thing. I do. Like in the morning, I wake up with the lemon water and sit and write my things for the little. And so, to some degree, we are lying in actually the activities what we do. And rightly said, yes, to reawaken our self-worth is very much important and key, isn't it? To find that strength
Absolutely.
again in us, and maybe that period is actually masked by our own emotional, hijacked by our emotional center, and that we are
Yeah.
no longer worthy, and when the trusted relationship is broken. Thank you for sharing that, Annie. And my next question is, again, this is more connected to, we always talk about in the media recently, and
Yeah.
also in many of the other books as well, and the same, and your book is You're Enough as well. It all talks about one key message, isn't it? Finding your voice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And if that is very personal and powerful shift one has to go through. Yeah.
Yes.
And especially for those people, that women, especially when I say people, specifically women who have been silenced for years, either by their own critic, or by the cultural external factors, or by the person who they have been with for so many years, silencing their voice. How do they find their voice? What would be your kind of advice on that? How to find their voice? Very well connected to your self-worth, but that alone is not going to help them. So what else can they actually do?
I mean, I always, and I can say even to myself, speak up your needs. First, speak up your needs. Even if it's small way to say your experience, your preferences. Share your story, just even about. Trust your intuition when you talk to people, and share whatever you think is in on you. But found your voice is to speak your truth, to speak how you feel. That's what I can say.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you, and very well said as well. So it's about like trying to trust yourself. It is very much important that I use
Yes.
the word trying to trust yourself because it's so hard for someone who have been silenced and jumping in. So trying with little things like
Yes.
standing up for yourself in your work, or standing up for yourself in a supermarket where someone has actually wronged you in a wrong price or anything. So small little things may be helpful.
Yes.
Yeah, and I see in my psychology practice as well, like a lot of people actually fear to speak up for themselves, even in their daily lives, like very little things, like if they lose some money in some parts of their transactions, or how to ask that refund, even a little thing. And
Yes. Little
that's
things.
something which can build up. And I also see your point of speaking up your needs, especially to the close ones,
Absolutely.
related ones, isn't it?
Needs and your truths. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. Because in close relationships, for example, I mean the close relationship, the close family circle, even your father, your mother, your sister, or a brother, speaking up your needs to them is also a little bit of a training that you speak up to in a relationship, intimate relationship to the other person, isn't it? Would you agree that,
Yes.
Adi? Yeah, yeah,
Absolutely agree.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yes.
So, with that, actually, I want to ask another question to you. How important is our internal narrative of ourselves? Because I see that as I do the same practice in the morning with my
Yeah.
hot lemon water and journaling, what is that affirmation or the narrative you're going to write? Other apart from doing little things or journaling, what are the things you have to do for the day? But there's also little narrative we have to work on our inside of ourselves. So what are the affirmations, if one or two you can give to people, they can start doing to create that internal narrative of the stronger version of themselves?
Is I can say, because I feel that way, is the self-talk is the foundation, the self-talk or the story we telling to ourselves first. That shapes our reality, or we shifting even ourselves in when we start talk ourselves and how we present our stories. And this is the transformation process, I can say, of our healing. But the self-talk is the foundation, is really foundation, and this shapes our reality. And the self-criticize and self-engagement, that's the transformation we all have. That's I can personally say by my experience, and that's what I advise my clients always. So never ever hide it in. If you feel that you want to speak up, speak up. You have a friends around you. You have people even which can listen into you. But the self talk, that's more powerful for the people. I have it in my practice. I see it in my clients. I see it in myself because I try on myself. And that's so powerful.
So, what are the one or two examples you can give? Like, what kind of self-talk they can talk? Because I can say that I'm not good in this costume and stand in front of the mirror, and that is a critical inner critic self-talk. Am I right? But to make me
Yes,
more
yes.
stronger, what can I actually say to myself to make myself believe that I'm the person who is right in taking whatever I'm doing?
This is again mindfulnesses or how you feel. That's the mindfulnesses. So that's make you choose, like you saying yourself in the mirror, say, "Oh, I'm not looking well in this outfit because it makes me fat." It makes you fat front of the mirror. It doesn't make you fat front of my eye. It doesn't make you fat front of anybody else. But that's come with you. That's come in your head how you feel. So when you open your eyes, when you put any outfit on you, and when you go in front of the mirror, the only information and things you can say, how beautiful I am. Once you believe you are beautiful in and out. No one can be there to say that you're ugly. You know, will be accepting in the way that I'm ugly or I'm fat. So if you don't like yourself wearing blue, then change the color, then change the clothes. But as I say, any color fits you. anything will be sitting on you very well. It depends how you think about that. It depends. That's mindful mindset, and it's how you feel in this outfit. And as I'm saying, I'm accepting myself even a bit over of my kilos. Like, as long as I love myself, how I look like, that's more important for me. Believe me, in the people's eyes, you don't look fat, you don't look ugly, you don't look this. No matter how you look like in people's eyes, it matter how you feel and what is in your head.
Yeah, yeah, true, true. It's about boils down to one point, isn't it? Self-acceptance. Am I right?
Exactly.
Whatever people say about you or talk about you behind your back or whatever the
Yeah,
media is saying, you have to accept yourself when you're standing in front of your mirror, and that is one way of
exactly.
training how to accept yourself. Yeah, thank you for sharing.
Yes.
My next question would be, today the world is moving to a digital dating world, am I right? And
Yes. Yeah.
so many people actually is justified in the fear of opening up again after the breakup. Yeah. And
Yeah.
not just because of the past pain, but because there are a lot of real manipulators and love scammers outside in the world, to
Oh,
one
it is. Yeah.
certain degree, where they try to pretend to be really good and provide a safety and a caring love for you, and a person who have been deprived of love and an abusive relationship start to believe them and try to overshare and try to build up a forecast and build up a long-term relationship. They forecast to build up a wrong relationship. That's what I'm stressing again. But that
Yes.
doesn't happen. And very soon, in the following months, then you get to know that person is not a real person and is an abusive person again. Okay. So,
Yes.
how would you help in your coaching to help women to find a healthy love? Because healthy love is a construct of respect and honesty and communication, and also how well they're committed in the relationship. How would that commitment part do you understand in the early stages of anyone doing this digital dating?
I mean, for me, personally, I can say because I try that online dating and stuff, and long time ago, and I was like saying, "Oh my God!" First, you need to accept your fears of unknowing, your fears of unknowing, or what is going to happen. Again, is self belief here. As I say on the beginning, once we go on the broken relationship or divorce, there is the thing start of not self-worth and how we will manage. And as I say, the dating, and even I was tried long time ago, and that was just because I don't believe myself. I worth to be there, or I worth a person, a nice person to be in my life. But the one thing I can say, start small. Start small, step by step, build it, see it, go with the friends, go with the big group. Don't need to be online dating all the time, but try there. Maybe it was there. No one knows where is our next chapter begins, how I say on my book as well. So start small. Try the small steps. Try with online if that makes you happy. Don't try if it's not. Try with a small group. Don't try if it's don't. Go with the friends. Go socialize yourself anywhere. It don't need to be in a club or online or in restaurant. That comes naturally how you build, how we step by step go there. And the self-worth, once you build this on you, the self-worth and self-belief and self-acceptance and self-love of who you are, the things are start coming easy to you. You start believing I'm worth of love, and I will found that. Put in your beautiful head first how you want to be loved again, and you will found naturally the way where your love is. you will just trust your path or yourself. Trust your path. Just you will feel it, or just let yourself in flow and see how it goes. Go with friends. Maybe it's close friends around you. Maybe it's someone which is really waiting you for so long. But just trust yourself. And that's what I say. Start small and build it up, and you will see how it is. But love yourself first. First, I'm always says, first is came in you. When you start love yourself, your path will become easy. You will noticing so many different things. You will see the people with a different face. That's because it's coming from you. You shine, you're smiley, you glow when the things goes around. That's what I can advise.
Great, thank you. What one message comes through is loving yourself, and also you start to understand what is the way you want to be loved. Because most of them, in getting into a jumping in one relationship after another very soon, without time for reflection, might actually also can be a failure with many relationships.
Absolutely.
Like until you understand how you want to be loved. Yeah, as there is a five
Exactly.
different love languages each one actually go by, and so
Yes.
that's a good point you mentioned, and that's what it just connected me. Like, so it is about really understanding, looking inside you, how you want to be loved, because
Inside, yes.
yeah, for example, even your mother or father, to certain ages, like when you're a tiny baby and growing into toddler, they can understand your needs. Yeah. Once you become an adult, it's like your brain is totally formed and you have a different, more ahead of thinking patterns. And even for your own close family circle, it's hard for them to understand you. So for a stranger to become your intimate partner, it is about you understanding yourself, how you want to be loved, so that you communicate with other people, and
Absolutely.
that's what I also see. Thank you for that. And the other part of the question about like earlier, I mentioned about yes, we are reflecting and we understand how we want to be loved, and there are manipulators out there who play by, and uh,
Yes.
there are a lot of stalkers out there looking into
And yeah,
women who are actually longing for a relationship, and they pretend for some while to be a partner who matches that woman's need, and the women are manipulated. So how do you actually understand or identify those kind of manipulators at early stages? Is it all you want to say, like, oh, you go by and see and try it out, and if it's not working, go part your ways? Or is it like, what is that parting the ways that women can decide at what point in the new relationships?
the first thing I want to mention as well when you start talking is never start relationship if you're not fully healed. Or I say, when you broke up or when you divorce in any kind of separation, just give the self for yourself. Just give a time for yourself, sorry. And that time could be 6 months to 1 year. That's what always advising my client. Give time first to recognize who you are after all this, after this traumatized you that much in that separation or divorce or any of circumstance. First start love yourself for who you are, and then go on the relationship when everything is clear in your mind. As I say, you will see the world with a different eye, not with a pink eye, because we taking the very bad decision, and that's the scammers comes. Because when you are hurt a month after your separation, if you go, that's the scammers can be very easy target for them. You because you already hurt and you not heal. You don't know who you are. You just wait, like all going around and looking for someone to hug, to be loved, to I word of love. No, 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 no. Here we need to stop. Here we need to stop. Take time for yourself. Take time for yourself. Heal. Once you heal, you will take a different decision. Even though the scammer comes, that's days are so difficult. I'm saying personally because I had a client which you asked me the exact same question. How will we recognize the right person, if most of them are fake one, if most of them just asking for a money, quick intimacy, or just to see go to pay the bills in a restaurant. She said, can you advise me? Can you help me how I can recognize? I said, there we go. You just starting with the question, can you help me? And we worked 3 months with you. And I asked her, how long you are not in the relationship, how long that happens. And she said, well, it's just a 2 months, it's just a 2 months. I said, there we go. You're not healed enough, you're not recovered yet to take that decision. You're never going to ask me how, because we're going to make different decision. you you're going to recognize the fake people. I'm not saying you're gonna become the specialist. You may be catch from the person, which is not the real one, pretending. But that's the life. That's the beauty of the life. We're making mistakes and learning from mistakes. But I'm always saying, once you heal, the decision came easy, and you will see from the different perspective and friends. And when you give the time for yourself, for example, 6 months to 1 year, you will see how clear the path will be, the future. And then when anybody came, you will be around with the friends, and you see this in your daily basis, how the men act, how the friends act, how the cousins act, how your sister, how your mother. So from all this, you can build the point of, I want that. Or maybe you don't want to go to in a relationship. Maybe we will proceed in your career. So maybe you will become somebody else like I did personally. I choose my career and I choose my children. And I say I will concentrate in my career and I will concentrate to help women like me been there, been not worth it, been scammed. I did been as well. And now I have a totally different point of view how the relationship will. And when somebody say, well, but you still alone, I said, "Hey, that's my choice. That's my choice." And I always say, the scammers is always there. It's always there. And you will build that, how to trust yourself and leave it on the floor to see is for me and when is for me. But the healing time will teach you more and see it around you.
Yeah, yeah, that's beautifully presented there because I was actually also agree 101% with you. Like instead of looking for a relationship when you're broken up and giving that time of healing, focus on other parts of your life where you are actually defining and seeing your strongest version of yourself, isn't it? And
Exactly.
that's
Yeah.
because we all say that in most part of the cultures now, again, it's growing, and given the empowerment to women, women as a leadership in a lot of
Yeah.
fields out there. So standing up for yourself and looking at other parts of your career will actually, or career or other parts of your life, even like if you want to build up a property portfolio or whatever other things you want to do, you wanted to do it, run a charity or whatever it is, that will bring out
Yes. Yes.
your true strength out. That's good. And to other layer where is a barrier for women to move out of their breakup or the divorce comes from
Yes.
their own circle. Yeah. What I'm talking here
Exactly.
is about the cultural layer. Yeah, and in
Yes.
certain communities, as I mentioned earlier in our talks about
Yeah.
the South Asian culture, where marriages are looked as a connection between two families rather than to union between two individuals. Yeah, and there is
Exactly.
a lot of cultural norms and other things, and people have been years and years being silenced, especially women, if they are going through something abuses, not to talk outwardly, and because that's going to bring shame to their family or dishonor to their family, and the children observe their abusive relationship, and they also actually their nervous system is wired looking at of a man treating women badly, even like in
Absolutely.
the verbal communication, and the children learn the pattern. Am I right? And so, and also like if women in that culture is broken up and comes out and wanted to create a group or talk with people, their own women's are the strongest enemies or the critics in their culture. Yeah. And they
Yes.
might actually put them and isolate. Oh, why can't this woman actually go along with the husband? And what is she actually more better than me? I'm going, my husband is the same. And so they have this mindset of criticizing a woman who's actually broken up. Women actually in those cultures go through going through divorce or early separation, go through this pattern of shame and criticism from their counterparts of women in the same culture or from their own family. Yeah. How would you then, what is your take? And how would you advise those women from those cultures? I believe that you actually deliver your coaching in a broader cultural, um,
Yes, I did.
yeah.
Yes, I did. So when you say that, you remind me, because I'm having a big event in Dubai in November, and I actually have a client from Dubai. The lady exactly we're talking about the culture, and that's the thing she was mentioned. In our culture, our voice is not important. We need to follow our husband or what he says, what is more important for the family. So she was asking me, on those days, I feel more mom. I feel more staying home looking after kids, but I don't feel myself as woman, as wife, as present there. I don't. Can you? She was always, can you help me with this? Can you help me to build this, to feel worthy as a woman, not only as a mother? And this all came from her culture and how she was grow, how she sees her mother and what happens. And the one thing I say to her, you not alone. We've been there. The pain is for everybody. It's not a culture. The pain of heartbreaking, the pain of enough is for everyone. It's not culture. It's not color. That is for everybody. And to find this, you need to find your inner voice, how you actually feel, the way of you sees yourself. And that is my programs comes where I'm advising with the tools we building. As I say, I'm psychologist like you. I like the neuroscience language and all this, and now I'm in the new course which is narcissistic recover relationship coach. I start from that page because so many people are in narcissistic relationship and they not realize this. This is a part of a community or part of like the cultures. We are in the same boat. It's just defined in with a different word. One is cultures, one is narcissistic, one is something else. But I'm saying when you found your voice of word, I am enough, then the things will become easy. And and for her I say, first of all, you beautiful mom, you have children, you raise children which one day will all be around you. And don't feel the way you're not enough to call women, because you not feel that way. You are women, you been choose and that family for that, because you are a beautiful person, and that we will build slowly. But once we found your voice in.
So, Annie, let's actually now move on to another critical part where women go through after the breakup or the divorce. Yeah, if there is a children in the equation, which we just touched about early part of this podcast, and I mentioned that we'll come down later on. So it is actually a moment where parents um, to some years after the relationship, the marriage relationship, or the living together, having kids in their equation of relationship, and they feel like part ways, but they can't part ways fully. Am I right? It's the children, so the key thing is there that
Yes.
binds them together, and so it's about the shift from we to a co-parent concept. Yeah. So
Yes, yes.
how can people actually do healthy co-parenting? Yeah, which is very important. And how can they manage conflicts, set boundaries? Could you talk about that a bit?
Yes. So co-parenting, or I can say, shifted how you mention from us versus them. So always prioritize the children well-being. That's the co-parenting. Just forget about the conflicts, how been, what can be, what should be. I was there and it was so painful. When if I go back and advise myself 10 years, I will never going to sit and arguing over the little small things of my ex-husband that I did before. As and I'm always saying, prioritize the well-being of the children or how you behave. From us, put them or friends. When your children see that the friendship, the beautiful friendship between mom and dad, no hates, no bad words, not he, she, they. Use the words them or we are friends. That's what I built with my exes. I built the friendship good that my children was seeing us as a friends. We don't have that conflict between us anymore. And I always advise step back, think before you say, because your children's is your mirror. They were seeing exactly what we do. And we better we are be our friends than arguing. Because the children seeing that. And what's painful was my children was there. My two children when I was going that divorce. I was very young. And I didn't know the way how to really stay away from the conflicts. There is no one could advise just think before you go on that. The co-parenting could be a beautiful things. You just when you are friends, when you set your mind to be a friend, to be a friend and to be a person for your child, prioritize them well-being first, not yours. Then the things comes easy. But that's what I'm saying. First comes the children first, and always we need to think about them because they're our mirror. They see us on that side for who you are, fighters, friends, or exes.
Yeah, yeah, true. And I go along with you. It is about the concept of citizenship, isn't it? As an individual yourself, you have a greater responsibility in citizenship, how you are growing the future generation. Yeah. And
Absolutely.
building the future generation and teaching them the concept of love. It don't need to be a kind of a pattern
Yes,
marriage. It can be a friendship. And yes,
exactly.
your father and mother are individual person. They have their own personal preference, but we have a healthy relation. We don't eat each other, and we are working things together to help you to grow in a healthy way. Yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah, thank you for sharing that.
That's
Um,
benefiting, actually, itself is benefiting our children or them emotional health. And is more important them emotional health, how they see that. And that's how is it when you are friend, when you are in a good place of it, no argument. That's how it is.
sure, sure. Great, thank you for that view. And I'm going to ask you one question before we wrap up about your how can because divorce is actually or a breakup in a
Yes.
relationship is actually a painful moment, isn't it? Like how can people actually starting from the scratch again? It's like yeah, if there is a children in the equation again, it is more
Yeah.
difficult. Yeah. Um, so, what are your some practical strategies or tips apart from the journaling which we discussed earlier? One
Yeah.
or two tips you can give.
Mindfulness is meditation, therapy support with us. I say people, not coach, can grow on the future. Community of friendships. Surround yourself with beautiful people. Never ever stays alone. I can give a tips to say go out wherever you feel so. That's most important for us. So once you found that self-love, self-belief, surround yourself with beautiful community, you will see how the things are start came in easy and easy. And found some strangeness, how we was saying on the beginning. Maybe you are good to be a painter. Maybe you are good to be a businesswoman. Maybe you are good to be a cooker, presenting your recipes or your products through the TV. Found your straightness or found what you love. Try something new. Never ever try to catch another relationship or be with someone just because you're broken. Try something new, something else.
True.
Is so many beautiful things around us in the world, and our friends, the people which we are surround, is nice to be in community. That makes you not feel alone. That's the one thing I can say as well. But the straightness, we mentioned the journaling, we mentioned the therapy. The therapy is more important. For me, the therapy is not a mental act of you have a mental issue or you have something which you need to work harder. No, 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 that's not true. You have something which you work on it and you're not alone in this. So we are only advisor. We're not treating the people with medication. We advise and you pick the right things from the advice we give, the right point of it.
Sure, sure. It's a very good point. Thanks for sharing that. Therapy is very, very key because, like, as generations, like, people are getting into relationships, and we see our parents' relationship, and we all jump into a relationship when we are not prepared emotionally for the relationship.
Yes.
Yeah, and therapy is something when you it is. I think that a divorce or a breakup is an opportunity to discover
To
your person.
grow.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's thank you for staying with me in this point actually. So I see that as an opportunity to bring out your strength. Yeah, come on, girl, like you are all enough and you are enough. And that comes back to your book title, You're Enough. Yeah.
Yes, yes,
So where
yes.
can people find the book? Where have you published the book?
The book is published in States, but the book you can find in Amazon.
Amazon.
And yes, is found in Amazon is in 186 country. So each country offers Amazon is coming in your language.
Mhm.
So it's in Germany and Austria, as I believe, in Europe, and mostly is America and here in UK as well. But my book, it could be found there. So I have a link through my social media. When you press the link, it will divert you to where exactly the book. Ingram.com is the as well one of the biggest for the author. So my book is there as well. So my book will be found anywhere.
Okay, brilliant. So, if you pass on those links, I can put it in the video description of this podcast
Absolutely.
so people can
Yes.
reach out. Great. And
Absolutely.
also, if you are giving any kind of free consultation for people to get to know you, you can share that link with me and I can put it down in the podcast. And thank you so
Absolutely.
much for your time today, Annie. And amidst your busy schedule today and being here with me and sharing your expertise and wisdom to this important topic of
Thank you
rebuilding
too.
after breakup in relationships. It's going to reach many, many women and support many, many women to rewire their thoughts and how they see. I believe so. I hope this episode is giving that hope. And I also want to end this podcast with a message of hope. So, one affirmation you tell to those women, what would that be from you?
I can say the one information or one word is the pain is not only on you and is not forever, but the changes starts with you.
Wow, great. Change starts with you. That is so much nailed on. And thank you for your time again, and for this soul nourishing conversation throughout. And have a good day.
Thank you very much for that pleasure to be with you. And I hope I reach most of the women which is there. And I can say the last, your voice is matter.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for that. Thank you, Devi.
Great. Thank you.
Thank
Bye
you.
now, Annie.
Bye.
A huge thank you to our guest Annie for not only sharing her expertise today, but also for showing up with so much heart, honesty, and healing. If you're listening right now and going through that heartbreak or breakup or navigating that divorce, I want you to remember you're not broken, you're becoming. This chapter may feel uncertain, but it is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of a stronger, wiser, and a more grounded version of you. If today's episode resonated with you, please consider sharing with a friend and leaving a review or reaching out to let us know what spoke to your heart. You never know who might need these words today. And don't forget to check out the description box below for the links of Annie's coaching and a book, You're Enough. It's a must read for anyone rebuilding your life with courage and grace. Until next time, be gentle with yourself, trust your healing, and above all, know you're worthy, you're strong, and yes, you are enough. Signing off, Devi Sundar.